It's a hot button issue with WWE right now. With everything that has been going on, we got two things to talk about on my channel right now. WWE has successfully sold their company, or at least 51% of it, to Endeavor. Endeavor also owns UFC and WME Talent Agency. They are considered a media company by trade, and they are the new parent company of WWE. They have acquired WWE as an asset, which means they have absorbed everything that WWE owns, all deals, possible deals, and everything in between. Endeavor now owns 51% of it. WWE owns 49%. Oftentimes, when you hear sold, you think that this means everything is going to whoever has bought it, and nobody who is already there or continuing to work for WWE doesn't have any control or doesn't know what they're going to be doing next. And that's not necessarily true. Oftentimes, these deals can lead to a partnership, which is what is happening with WWE and Endeavor. Currently, right now, Ari Emanuel is the head of Endeavor. He is over that company. The COO and president of Endeavor is Mark Shapiro, I believe it is. And right now, WWE and Endeavor are creating an entirely new company that will merge the companies together and make it into its own entity. This company is set to go public within 4 to 6 months, according to CNBC and Ari Emanuel himself. WWE and Vince McMahon, and of course Ari Emanuel and Endeavor seem to be very excited about the deal. There's a bit of deflection that was happening in this interview on CNBC, but you know what? I expect that. I mean, they're not going to give up their hand right away. I will say this: I did not expect them to merge with UFC, but it does make sense. I'm gonna get more into that on the podcast. Down for the Count. If you guys don't know, Down for the Count is the wrestling podcast that I am a part of, and we're gonna get into all of it and really break everything down. I'm gonna try and get Janae to get the numbers out so that it's a better understanding of what we're looking at. And with our four minds together, I think we can come up with a cool breakdown for you guys so you can understand what is happening and how this could benefit them in the future. Um, I don't see this as a bad deal, actually. I think this is relatively smart. Endeavor is very good at their media and extremely well um, versed in brokering deals for UFC and various other companies that they own. Now, WWE has media rights that they have coming up very soon, literally within the next 2 months, I believe. Their media rights will be up for sale and ready to roll. That means NBC Universal, Peacock Television, and Fox all together could be losing their status as the number one places to watch WWE content. This puts USA Network in jeopardy and Fox in jeopardy as a whole. And the Peacock television streaming service is also up for renewal. Now, with the way that Endeavor operates with their UFC stuff, I could just about imagine where we could be leading to cost wise in terms of us paying for these premium live events, as they call them. The thing that I see here is that more than likely, I would suggest that Endeavor might come up with their own streaming service and then man it from their perspective. And if they do that, then the cost of that streaming service might be different. If they combine their efforts and do this, I think that they can work out an opportunity where they can have that streaming service and it can be relatively great for all MMA and fighting sports and just wrestling as a whole. It can truly be a conglomerate where people can go to watch all forms of wrestling and let WWE and UFC be the lead out for that fighting style of sport. I don't know if that's what they're planning on doing, but if it was me and I was working with Endeavor, I would definitely go that route. I feel like WWE functioned better in terms of the shows when they had their own premium live event service. I don't think that those the big four will be a flat rate either. But that's another conversation for the podcast that I think we're going to get into. But to give you guys just a little tidbit, the way I think that this should work, to give you my personal opinion, because the streaming rights and because they call it direct to consumer content, because that stuff type of stuff is very much gauged by the product. The way I would do it is I would set it back up like it was WWE's network, but I would obviously call it something else. So whatever the parent company name is, which is going to take 4 to 6 months for this company to get a name, to be set and ready to roll, and the government has to approve it, and then they're going to be on the U.S. stock market exchange, ready to go as the new company overall. Okay. But to just clear this up and to get into something that I saw on Twitter today with Triple H. Here's the thing. If it were me, I would have Endeavor create a new media streaming service. And I know everybody's like, we got enough streaming services. But hear me out. I would create the service, or I have two ways. I would create the service and you would pay a flat rate for your membership, which means you could, watch whatever you want to watch in terms of the current stuff that's on there, old pay-per-views. I would make it so you have access to everything. Every piece that WWE owns, I would make it so you have access to that. But I would make it so that the big four, like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and of course, SummerSlam would have separate premium tickets. And I would make it tier level, and I would have it so that if you have a certain membership, all that stuff will be included. If you have the lower membership, then you would have to pay for whichever event that you want. So that's the way I would do it, because I feel like they would get the most bang for their buck doing it that way. And that in that higher tier, you would have access to both sides. So you would have access to UFC events if they're on there. You don't have to pay extra for that. You would have access to all of WWE's content and UFC's content. You can watch old fights, undercard fights. Some people like to study the art of UFC and MMA fighting, and some people want to go back and watch some older, dominant champions that were there. People like Daniel Cormier, Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes. The list goes on. Chris Cyborg. Like, so many people had great runs in UFC, and a lot of people just like to go back and revisit. So I would do stuff like that. That's how I would do it. But y'all let me know in the comment section below how you feel about WWE selling their company to Endeavor and merging Endeavor, UFC, and the whole company as a whole, merging everything together. I think it's really smart, to be honest. I think that they went about this very quietly, because everybody just assumed that the Saudis would buy them out. Like I said, we're going to get into everything in depth and in full this Thursday on the podcast. I will have that podcast up for you guys Friday for sure, because I really, really want everybody to hear the show, and I really want everyone to have a clear understanding of this sale. With all that being said, comment in the comment section below what you think about the sale with Endeavor, and if you think it's a good idea, a bad idea. And also make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. And you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's your personal preference. It'll just let me know and gauge what type of content that you want. And I will see you guys in my next video.